Doesn't matter. Let's go. Just turn off one fucking light.
I'm not even recording. Hey, do you have the audio on?
No, you don't need to. You don't fucking need to worry about anything right here. Because this shit is just. Fuck yeah, it's on. Dude, it's been on for fucking 23 seconds. Look at that. I got this going. I got that going. I got all kinds of shit going. I got all kinds of shit going. You know what's been really bugging me over the last 2 weeks?
What? This could be anything.
I'm serious.
No!
It's been bugging the living shit out of me. All this stuff with like the kettlebell workouts that's not even working out. I've been seeing more and more of it.
Oh, like that shit you sent me with like the barbell, and he's like, what is it? It's like the bar and then the weights on one and the other one's just planted on the ground. And he's like,
that's kind of a workout. That's like legit.
Yeah.
Been a good workout for a long time, working on explosiveness. But it's when they start adding all these other maneuvers that it gets too much. Have you seen these kettlebell workouts to where they swing? They fucking swing the kettlebell and they flip it and they grab it and they flip it and they're doing all this shit. Like look, first off, when people think of fitness world and they think of who has a reputable opinion about stuff, they always think about me. So,
wow, I didn't see where that was going.
So my opinion matters on this. Trust me. I talk to Dell and Kenny all the time about.
Yeah. So you got your finger on the pulse.
I got my finger on. I'm the guy, you know.
Yeah. That's what I think about. I'm like, I need to call him if I want to make sure workout's legitimate.
I get stuff supposed to evolve. We're constantly making things better, but sometimes shit shouldn't evolve.
You watch too much fucking Tim Dillon before this podcast.
Too much coffee.
You're going on rants.
It's been bugging the shit out of me. Sometimes things don't need to evolve. Mm-hmm. Like, what's the benefit of fucking throwing and flipping a kettlebell? Hand-eye coordination? Throw a fucking baseball.
Have you seen the ones where they go up and then mid-air, they'll let go and tap it and then catch it again?
that pisses me off.
Maybe it's a coordination thing.
Okay, go play baseball. What are you going to be doing? What real-life scenario are you going to be doing tapping?
You're seeing the stuff on Instagram, so it is like an aesthetic workout. If they're like doing these tricks, it's like more pleasing to see, oh shit, he tapped it like 3 fucking times. Is that part of it? Or do you think, because you have to go, the camera moving back and forth while they do these aggressive workouts. Like, that's the thing. So, like, if everybody's doing that, like, all right, well, I'll put my fucking arm around the kettlebell as it's in the air and catch it and do the same, and then it'll one-up that video. Do you think there's some of that going on?
I guess so. Are you talking about, so it's just mainly for looks? Like, it's not really about working out anymore.
It's like a trick. Like, if you see, like, someone on a skateboard, they got to do a trick because it makes it, like, to me, more legit style.
It's adding too much fluff to like just working out. Work out.
You know what I bet it turns into? It's going to be working out, but then there's they have like CrossFit or whatever. There's going to have a competition.
Oh yeah.
For so many reps or whatever, but then it's going to turn into a style. There's going to be like, how much style did he have? Like, you're doing the movement right, but where's the flair?
Yeah.
No, it could evolve into that.
I think you're right. I get that you need to appeal to people to get their fat asses up and work out. I understand that, right? But it's just too much. Like, you're going to break your fucking foot. It's going to fall and you're going to break your toe or something. Just work out. Yeah. Just do the kettlebell swings, the Turkish get-ups, the animal flow stuff. It's like evolved from this animal flow. Like, even sometimes animal flow is getting a little bit too much. Like, have you seen the Carnivore MD? Mm-mm. I love the Carnivore MD. I'm a big fan of the Carnivore MD.
Okay.
But he posted this video on TikTok the other day doing some fucking crazy shit. I'm going to pull it up. I want you to watch it.
I think it's all flair. You know the guys that will do the push-ups and they'll jump when in the push-up and like spread out and then go back down.
Yeah.
And then they'll boost up and just fucking throw a backflip. It's like, what are they doing? It's turning into that. Like, that's all showboating. and it's like seeping into kettlebell workouts.
Yeah, it's kind of like, when is it going to stop? What is too much?
Who's going to be the guy that stops it, or woman?
It's going to be me.
Yeah,
I'm going to put a stop to this. Like, just work out.
Yeah.
I don't understand the benefit of flipping a kettlebell. Help me understand. Someone fucking come to me and tell me the benefit of going around. They go around and they hold it.
Oh.
You know what I mean?
Someone's going to tell you. Dude, every time I do that one, you're supposed to do it like in the air very like nicely to where it's not slamming on your wrist. But I would wear my Garmin watch and
you have to flip the watch.
I have to flip the watch or take it off. But man, it hurt. Like if you don't know what you're doing, it just slams on your wrist all day.
Okay, so that legit where you're flipping the kettlebell to do like a power clean or a snatch or a press, that's a legit workout. Like that's a legit thing to do with a kettlebell. I'm talking about when they start with the kettlebell between their legs and they rotate in a 360 around them in front. Okay? So they put their arm in a big circle and they catch it and then they'll go down and they'll act like they're going to do a kettlebell thrust and they'll flip it in the air and then catch it.
That's flare. That's flare.
Like,
but they squat with this, right? Because that's the squatting position. Like when they flip it, they normally come down on a squat. That puts weight on their squat, right?
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
Man, that's just something that's been bugging the fuck out of me.
I had no idea that's what you're going to be saying. You could have said anything.
Well, I caught myself getting into it, wanting to do it. What are you looking at the camera for?
Make sure we're live.
Oh, dude, don't distract me like that.
Don't worry about where I'm looking.
Okay.
It shows Dunder Mifflin.
I caught myself trying to do some of this shit.
You caught yourself?
Yes.
Just all of a sudden you're like, oh shit.
Yeah, I caught myself wanting to get into this stuff because I follow, the Eric Leha and all those the primal. There's a whole primal page of workouts. And some of this shit is really good. Stretching, mobility, your hip flexors. I think those are like 100%. I need to stop saying like so much right now. Just the coffee.
The coffee's
getting me.
You came in hot.
I know.
This episode.
I'm sorry. I truly believe in some of that stuff now. I see the benefits personally.
Yeah.
With my knee and my ankles and all that stuff.
Yeah, with the knees over toes stuff.
The knees over toes, that's big. Like it's been helping 110% of my runs. And I was like, well, if that works, then maybe I can incorporate some of this other stuff. I want to go, how I go. I want to go, I want to do everything. I want to incorporate all the stuff that's similar. Because if it works, but then I'm like flipping kettlebells in my shit. And I'm like, this is wrong.
It's like cardio weightlifting. It's like integrating the two together.
Yeah. To
where you're getting, a lot of people don't want to do cardio or they don't want to do weightlifting. So now it's like powerful, explosive movements. But you know what the contributing factor is, right?
A coronavirus.
Correct. No. 4 scoops of C4. Those motherfuckers get that pre-workout, dude, and they start doing these movements like, fucking, I'll flip it this time. I'll fucking kick this shit up there.
Get it, Johnny. Get it.
Sweep the leg. Kick his ass, Johnny.
I believe it. I believe the hardcore, the amp music, too much fucking pre-workout, and wanting to get the most views. I think you're absolutely right. I didn't really consider. My brain is like, how is this really benefiting a workout? But I think you're right. Mm-hmm. They're wanting to appeal, and there's so much fucking athletic workout videos out on Instagram that you have to try to separate yourself. Oh, hey. This podcast episode is brought to you by BCN Supplements. BCN Supplements is a Texas-based company that produces and manufactures everything right here in the great United States of America. The good thing is BCN caters to every single person on the fitness spectrum, whether you're a seasoned hybrid athlete, kind of like myself, or you're a newbie just now starting to pay attention to your health, kind of like Mike. BCN has what you need to make a healthy choice. Lately, I've been using BCN's pre-workout mix, and to be honest, I'm not really a pre-workout guy because I don't like the way most on the market make you feel. The crash and that tingly feeling, but you don't get any of that junk with BCN's pre-workout mix. I've noticed I had more focus during my lifts and more energy to carry through my longer workouts. And that pump you get is it's amazing. Drop what you're doing right now and go to bcnsubs.com to place your order today on this pre-workout mix. They got vitamins and they got collagen, and be sure to use promo code CWJM to receive 10% off your next purchase. BCN Supplements, helping build a better you from the inside out.
Yeah.
And I think that's a way for them to do it.
But if there, I get it too. So like if you have this movement down so well to a science, your body's going to want to one up it. So like if you know the timing of you going up and down and you know you can do a flip in there and catch it, like you shouldn't do that day one because you're going to catch it wrong and like pull your back or, you know, something. So they've got it down so much. I would throw a little flip in there if I've done it for years, you know, like.
You're a stylistic guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's why it's evolution. You want to get that trickery. You want to get that showboating. Like with basketball, have you seen dunks lately? Jeez, like
I watch basketball.
These dudes are like doing 540s and dunking now. I used to just dunk it one hand.
Basketball's too woke for me.
It's an evolution thing. What is that? Who Leha?
Eric Leha.
When I watch his videos, though, I get pumped, dude. Whatever they're doing with the camera, they're going back and forth, and his like.
I like when he does the feet front and back, and he's like, and then he'll step up. That dude's fucking ripped.
And then he's lean, and then he's just explosive. Makes you want to do something. I don't do it, but I want to.
I've tried to do it. I'm glad that he doesn't. He holds true to the fundamentals, the fundamental primal stuff. I haven't seen him.
That could be. Animal is already not fundamental, but the fundamentals of animalistic,
the traditional primal kettlebell stuff.
Yeah,
he's holding true. I don't see him doing that fluffy stuff. I think all that stuff's fluff.
I never see him use the gorilla ones. Do people really use that, or is that something they put on like their table or something?
I think Rogan. I mean, that's a Rogan thing, right? It's on it. It's a on it kettlebell.
That's where he works. So I would imagine they have some gorilla ones there.
How can you really do, like, if you're doing the kettlebell swings, maybe the gorilla, but if you're doing the other ones,
the gorilla face is going to cut you or something.
Going to bite the shit out of you.
He might bite you. Yeah. It's gonna get bananas.
This is why I
knew that's the shit you like.
No, this is why I don't laugh at your jokes.
I have to dumb it down. So it's on your wavelength, and you're like, "Oh shit!" Pick up on it. You're like, "Oh shit, that's funny."
I laugh. It's because it's so stupid. Like, it's not funny at all.
You and Kelly are on this low wavelength, and if I just throw those little slapstick jokes in, you're like, you just like connect. You're like,
you think you're a comedian, but you're not.
You're on coffee too much right now.
Every now and then, you say some shit that's pretty funny. You said something on Hickey's podcast that was. I had to watch back twice. I was like, it's just pretty funny.
Was that the one that you didn't get at first? The best ones are the ones you don't get at first.
No. It was something that you said that was funny.
I don't even remember.
Very rare that it happens.
Yeah.
That's what's been pissing me off.
Maybe this like podcast we do by ourselves should just be like a rant of what gets on your nerves.
There's a lot of stuff
that
gets on my nerves.
A lot of
stuff gets on your nerves too, right?
Well, yeah, with this climate we're in. It's like throwing stuff left and right at us. You know what bothers me is I've looked at our videos, and every time I say something, I do this. And we edit these. We don't really watch them, but we edit them, so we're basically watching them. And all the things I do when I talk is the same shit. And I'm like, fuck, I gotta quit fucking touching my t-shirt when I talk.
Why do you do that?
I don't know. It's like that shit I used to do like that. I don't do it anymore.
I do that. I talk with my hands a lot.
You need to stop.
Why?
Keep your hands straight.
If we had a table here, then I wouldn't do it as much.
Do I need to put a little table? I can put a TV dinner table here. Do you think that would break it?
No, I think we need to go back to the table. Not that table, but I think we need to go back to the table. Yeah.
With this setup?
No. I'm not digging the setup.
No.
Right now.
Well, that's bullshit. We put a lot into it.
I know.
Yeah. That's why you don't.
I like the table.
You like going against the grain.
No, not all the time.
Yeah.
I just like the table format better.
When something's too perfect, you're like, hey, I don't like this at all.
What I didn't like about the table was that we sat on the same side. We almost need a circle or a triangle table.
Yeah.
A triangle table would be good.
Triangle?
Yeah.
What if we have 4 guests? They'll be on one side?
Yeah, the guests would be on.
You've been doing too much trigonometry.
Been living it.
You love triangles.
Maybe that's it.
Trigonometry is the funner one out of the math, though. Like, you can agree, like, well, there's some trig and, like, calculus and stuff, but, like, trig's, like, understandable a little bit.
You can apply it.
Yeah. For those who don't know, John's in school and he's doing trigonometry.
We can talk about that. We were talking about it before the podcast.
About school?
Yeah, you can apply, well, the way that school's taught today, it's hard because they make it hard. Like this one. Yeah.
Or it's outdated. So it's like not necessarily they're making the money, but they're not putting it back into the school. The thing that got us on this rant is because I'm doing Duolingo. And for those of y'all don't know, it's a Spanish. For those of y'all don't know, it's a Spanish. It has all languages, but it's to teach you languages, and it applies it in a way that's just so understandable. And it's like they give you different scenarios too. Like they'll say it, and then you have to spell it. They'll say it, you'll have to say it. They'll say English, and then you have to say Spanish. And there's these little blocks of each word that you bring in and make the sentence that they're saying. And it's like I'm learning at such a rate. Like I literally did it for like 2 days. And I think I learned more than 3 semesters in high school. And it's just they made it better. It's like great now. So if they could have that same app, and I've looked this up, I was like, what's the Duolingo app for math? And Duolingo's already making an app for math, because if you can make it click and have that aha moment where you're like, oh fuck, I get it now, then it's great. Yeah. Some of those classes I never get it. Like I'll just follow along and I'm like, okay, well, I don't know how this applies to the real world.
They're teaching like in high school, and when I was in school, or we were in school, and even in college, they're teaching you to pass the class. They're teaching the way to do something the way that they know how to do it, right? The way they learned it to pass this class. They're not teaching you to apply the material in real life. To me, that would help me so much more, because that's why I fucking hated high school. It was boring as shit. I don't want to read Hansel and Gretel, and I don't want to know this fucking math equation to pass next week's class. Tell me how it's going to help me in real life.
Yeah.
And I think people would probably gauge to that faster and catch on quicker. At least for me. There's people that don't need to learn that way. There's people that fucking can just listen to the teacher talk and watch the teacher write on the whiteboard, and it clicks for them. I'm not that person. I have to fucking apply. Make me want to do this.
Yeah. The
reason I'm doing it in college is because I have to. I have to pass it to get where I want to go.
Yeah.
It's still not fun. And most of the professors, they're so disengaged. They're just, here's this week's material and pass this class. I'm not going to use it. All the engineers we talk to at Dow, they don't use their shit.
No.
They forgot it all.
Yeah, because the system's already set up. There's spreadsheets and things to help you with the formulas and things. It's not like you have to go pick up your college book and flip through the page. You're like, what was that? What was that relative formula or whatever the hell?
Calculate the spill.
Yeah, you don't do that. There's stuff to help you do that now, because I think that's the progression of mankind. I mean, we're not going to. It's good to know where it all came from, but in order to progress, we have to pick up where we left off and keep going, keep passing the ball as our generations keep going and going. That's how we're going to get further. But
have you heard of these school pods that it's like a private school, but it's some of the teachers, like during COVID, some of the teachers started their own school pods. There's a bunch of different names, but I've heard them say school pods. So teachers that have quit teaching in high school have opened up their houses or their homes to start teaching a certain amount of students at their houses.
What?
And it's exploding right now, especially in Texas. And I'm thinking about throwing the twins in there. I don't want the twins to go to this fucked up public education that we have. And, you have to worry about schools being blown up or some kid taking a knife or a gun to school these days. And the way they teach at these pods are like real life applications. Candace has this friend who's homeschooled, and she's so fucking smart, dude. She's brilliant, and she knows how to engage in conversations with adults, like so much to where I'm like, fuck, she's smarter than me. but it's 3 hours a day versus 10 hours. You send your kids to 10-hour school days, and they drag it out, and it's long and monotonous and
not efficient. Yeah.
And not efficient, yeah. And these school pods, they last 3 to 4 hours, like not even a full traditional school day, and they teach them real life applications. They're teaching everything about history, they're teaching everything about math, but they're applying it to where these kids can grasp the material.
Yeah.
I want to do that.
That's a good way for teachers to make more money too.
Yeah,
they can charge a little more for this like private session. The kids benefit. I know where the problem's going to come is where the teachers have a political bias.
That's where it gets,
and that's
tricky.
going to seep into the kids, and that's where you have to pick like what teacher do I want.
Yeah.
But I think school has that too, anyways. So like when you go to a class, it's monitored a little more, maybe. But I'm sure they have political biases too. I think you saw stories on that where some of the teachers get in trouble for teaching a certain way, and not just teaching history; they're teaching it in their point of view. Yeah, which gets a little hairy. But that's a good idea, man. And it's making it more convenient too. It probably costs more, so they get more money. They get more. They're not getting paid hourly; they're getting paid for the sessions.
Yeah. Someone was telling me this week, a coworker. Her sister took her sister's kid was the school was thinking about putting her into special ed, and they were thinking, she wasn't a bad kid, but she was distracted and she made some noise, and so anyway, she wasn't performing well with the other kids. So the parent took her out, put her in one of these homeschools, and now she's like out testing her other classmates that she would have been with.
Wow.
Because they're teaching to this how this kid learns. And I feel like that was me. Like I had thought I was in special ed classes. I really thought
I was too.
I thought there was something wrong with me because I couldn't pay attention in class. Yeah. I couldn't sit there and like watch this teacher. I was thinking about football and like fucking bitches. I know you wanted me to say that. All right. But I wasn't thinking like that. I couldn't sit there and listen, and I didn't know how this applied to me. No. And I don't know. I think I think it counts for something. Not every kid can learn that way.
Yeah, and so it's a paying attention thing, and then also the classes are like sometimes 20 plus. Mm-hmm. So you can't touch every kid in there, metaphorically. Yeah. Oh, shit. So like that was the same thing with me. I would like in math, I think it was algebra or something. Every time I'd come in there with my book and all that, and I'm ready to go. I'm writing down notes, and I'm like really getting it. But that moment I drop off, I'm like, I just don't understand this one concept. I go to the teacher, and he's like, "Oh, I don't have time just yet. You can come after class."
After class or before class. Well, yeah. My parents work. Yeah. So I can't come after class. I
can't come early. Yeah. And I have to be out the bus to go home. Yeah. Or I'm going to miss the bus, and nobody's going to come pick me up. Yeah. So there is that thing. But I think making the group smaller like that, you can reach kids better.
You have more time to teach. You don't have to be on this. Oh, it's first period. It's second period. We got to take attendance in third period now, and we got to recess and lunch. And they're feeding kids. It's just better all the way around.
Because you can feed them properly too. Yeah, you're getting
your fucking bullshit lunch at school.
What is it like? Fucked up pizza. It was square
that pizza was good.
It was kind of good though.
It was good, boy.
They had some good stuff.
But still, it just benefits the child so much more.
Yeah, and it can be around there. Well, we discussed before, half of school is daycare too, so it does kind of suck. They're only there 4 hours because we work. It's either 8 or 10 hours. But people are working from home.
I know a lot of people are working from home.
The world is evolving.
That's the kind of shit that needs to evolve. But there's too much money in the education system. It's easy to say, well, kids aren't performing well in this school. Well, how do we fix it? We give the school more money. Yeah. So that's just is an evolving thing. Like throw more money at it. Throw more money. No, maybe you're just fucking teaching wrong.
I guess that's the other thing too. School's free right now, and then you have to start paying for school, so it'd be an extra expense.
What do you mean? School's not free?
Public school is
bullshit.
Well, I mean, you pay your taxes, but this way you actually have to pay up front.
Better.
I mean, I think people will think it's worth it if their kid, because that's why people send like their 4 or 5 year old kids to this private school, so they start learning numbers and alphabet when they get in school. They're like, but that's the problem. They get into public school if they don't go to private school, and they're like way ahead,
too ahead,
and they're bored, and then they decline.
We think that in society, at least me, I feel like I was conditioned to think that kids that went to or private school or homeschooled are weird kids. Do you have that same?
Yeah.
And they're not. They're fucking just brilliant.
They're not.
They're smart kids. Every now and then, I think it matters, like if they're too closed in from society.
Yeah, like
and
not social enough.
I know some kids that were raised by just their grandparents and they were homeschooled by their grandparents. They're fucking weird.
They're like an old soul too, because they think about my time's up, my time's going up.
They gotta they're 12 years old. They're in their nook and cranny and they're reading a book that when they should be outside. So there is some of that going on, and maybe that plays into this conceptual image that people have of homeschooled kids. But all the kids that I know, and I know quite a few, they're fucking so smart.
Yeah.
And they're amazing kids. They can keep a conversation. They're polite. And they can apply everything they learn to real life.
I didn't know you were in special ed.
I was almost in special ed.
Oh, I thought you were.
I was almost in special ed.
I was in special ed in elementary school, and I didn't know I was in special ed.
You're a special boy.
Dude, I was like not in the regular classes, and I didn't even know. And then there's a point where they're like, hey, you're smart enough now. They probably really said that back in the day, too. It might be like this PC stuff. So they like let me out. And I was like
a free world.
And they put me in regular classes. I think it was in like, I don't know, 4th grade or something, maybe 3rd grade. And then I like went to normal classes and I was like, well, this shit's hard now. But I got to it. There's at some point I fell off and then I never came back and I went to this special ed and got back on track. But
I was on until I got to like 7th grade.
Yeah.
Girls fucked it up for me big time. But sports, like I think the reason I was passing is because I played sports.
Yeah.
I was a good athlete. So it's true. If you're a good athlete, you're going to pass. Maybe it might be with a 70, but they're going to pass you.
Oh, I got a shit ton of 70s, dude.
Yeah.
70 was my grade.
They just pass you. They pass you along. They don't fucking like help you. I was able to go to, I forget what they called it. They called it like study hall. Mm-hmm. Something along those lines. I was able to go to that, but I was in all the regular classes. And it was hard. Like, it was too hard.
Yeah.
But I don't think it was, like, looking back on it now, it just wasn't taught right.
Back in the day, man, chalkboards, dude, like getting that shit all over your finger and you're wiping it and then you erase it and it's not totally going away and it's like clunky and it's like, I don't want to fucking learn. Take the chalkboard away.
Did you have a teacher that was really great that stuck out to you?
Oh, yeah, in high school.
Yeah. Tell me about this teacher. Why did this teacher stick out to you?
He applied it to real life situations. And it was in high school. He was an English teacher. I can't think of his name, but a lot of people had him as at Brazowood. Man, bald-headed guy. He would amp you up, man. He goes, there's no way you're going to fail unless you just don't apply yourself. So I'm not going to allow you to fail, but only if you apply yourself.
It's going to make me cry.
So he would walk around the class. It was so much energy. I think he worked out and stuff. And he would make songs out of like the things we need to learn. And he'd be like, she's a brick, and like slap house. And like everybody is like amped and they got out of the class and they're like,
looking
hell
forward
yeah.
to that class probably.
Yeah, everybody loved that class. And there would be some people trying to like act out, but he had a funny way of putting that at bay. Like he's like, he's saying it away, but he wouldn't get strict. He just knew how to like control a class. And like I would find myself doing the test and I'm like saying these little things. I'm a brick. And I write the answer down. Yeah. So it's like he, maybe he was teaching to pass the class, but there's also things that I still remember from the class that help in the real world.
Yeah.
But yeah, real world applications is what he did. And I think that's why everybody loved it. And he made it easy. It's like, it can be that way. Or you can be a teacher and just hand out the packets and make sure they come in on time and don't socialize and don't really help anybody.
Yep.
And that makes people not want to go to school.
Yeah, they're unengaged. I had an English teacher. Her name was Mrs. Wendell. The best teacher. I hated reading. It's ironic I like it today, but she made reading fun. She was in English, so writing papers and all that shit. She made it fun. She applied to it in real life, and I was different with my family in that we. Like most kids in Drippin at the time, they were raised like trim and proper, and their parents probably didn't cuss around them. And she would say like jokes to a select few of students that got the adult humor. She like slid some adult humor in class sometimes. And me and my friend Heath, I haven't talked to him in forever, but we sat by each other and we would get this like these adult humor jokes, and she made class fun, and she would always like look at me and Heath and like wink. Yeah, like wink.
I remember some teachers like that.
Yeah, but she made it fun and engaging, and like, hey, like this is why you read, and then she would apply something of like some stupid book that we were reading. She would be able to apply that to a real life scenario, and everyone loved that teacher, like hands down. No one had anything to say about that teacher. I had this other teacher in reading class. At the end of every class, she said, like the bell would ring, and she would make everyone stay until she was done and get to this last part. She would always say, "Any questions?" And she'd look at everybody. "Any comments? Any concerns?" And that was her thing. So much her thing that we all started doing that in school. Like any questions? Like almost kind of making fun, right? We're shitty kids, right? We're kind of making fun, but it stuck with us. Let's listen. If this is your chance before you don't go home and stress about it, tell me now.
Yeah.
And let's talk about it. Shit like stuck with me. I still think about that.
Yeah.
So
I love the teachers too that like they didn't say come in early or after. Like there's some teachers, and it can get out of hand probably, but there's like a line of 4 students that would stay after and ask their questions. They would go over it. Hey, this is how you do it. They'd leave and they'd get it. Because if you fall out at one point, like I would do it, I would know it. I was so good at falling off that like I almost encouraged it, because then I was like, all right, well, I'm not going to try from this point on because I'm too far behind. And then I'll just cheat off the papers.
Yeah.
I was a good cheater.
Oh boy, I could cheat.
Dude,
the best of them.
when there was always a teacher that was like, hey, I know a lot of you guys like cheating. You're not going to get past me. And I'm like, motherfucker, I got eyes in the back of my head. I
can fucking cheat.
I can cheat off of Scantrons, boy. I scan them better than the machine.
That's funny. That's funny.
I was good at cheating. I don't know shit. I don't know shit today. So, but it's amazing. I can go to college, and I was able to catch up to like go to college. It's like I passed pre-Cal. I'm in about to go to Cal. I did trigonometry. I just don't know how the hell. And you know what I did was I did Khan Academy.
That motherfucker's good.
Which is really good, and that's just another thing that's just way better than school.
Yeah.
But it doesn't have to be. It could be school could be that good.
Yeah.
And be like that personal application, but they're just not putting. There's no money in the school, but if they did, they're not putting it back into it.
Do you know who Brian McLogan is? I'm going to reach out to him to see if we can get him on the podcast. I think I sent you him because he got me through.
You may have.
He got me through Cal 2 or 1
that
or
teacher
something.
that like does it a certain way.
Yeah, he teaches. He's been doing it for years. He teaches. He films certain segments of his class, and he made a like big dramatic post last year that he was quitting school to only do his YouTube series and YouTube videos. But he taught in a way that was fun, and like he broke it down so simple. Every complex question, he would just break it down, and he made his class, you could tell, was fun because students would sometimes be giggling. He'd be like, but he would say it sarcastically. He's like, "Guys, stop. Come on. I don't have time for this." But he had this charisma about him that he was being a cocky asshole, but it was fun, and he could make a problem that was hard just super easy because he doesn't explain it the way the book is. He learned it. You know that he learned it, and he broke it down in a way that everybody. His YouTube channel is so popular. If you read the comments, people are like, "You taught me more in this 2 minutes than my professor has taught me all year." Yeah. And that's a common theme.
That's the problem, man. Yeah. But like I was saying with Duolingo, 2 days, more than like 3 semesters or whatever in high school. If that's happening, imagine what a day could do. Yeah. Like if they're that much more effective, like we need to get the other teachers out and get people, or have them teach the teachers, like something.
I wonder if that's why he left school, because he realized he could make a bigger impact.
Yeah.
To more kids doing YouTube videos.
Yeah. And it gives him more flexibility. He can just, put the videos out when he needs to. And that's the big thing. I like how the world's evolving now is flexibility, allowing us, in the free world to have more alone time, like more time to ourselves, more time with our family, get the things we need to get done when they need to get done. But I mean, you can do it mobile now. I think that's so good for especially like mental health. Like we're trying to attack it, but it's like a funny thing of like COVID is like all this stuff got reorganized to where schools can be online now. Like if we made that initiative without COVID, it would have never happened.
Right. No,
nobody would ever like
went home. Can you imagine working from home, like doing our jobs or even like our company, not just our company, but every company.
Yeah.
As I wear the jacket.
Yeah. But it would have never happened. Yeah. That had to happen to restructure the school system to be able to be online. And then that happened with work too. Like non-essential people went home and then they restructured the way we worked. And now we're doing things like via Zoom, like qualification stuff, like things that we never thought could be, or we're just like, that's a no-go. Now they're available. And now, we can get just as much stuff done and also have free time to spend time with your family or do, hobbies or whatever you're into.
Yeah. I always wonder what the flip, like I'm a big proponent of working from home and remotely. I love it now, but I always wonder what the long-term effects are going to be because we don't know yet what it's really going to do. It does open up more doors to be able to get stuff done at the house and have dinner ready at a certain time and, spend more time and be more flexible with kids too. Parents that have kids, it's tough if both parents work too. But I always wonder what I can't think of any. I don't know what the negative impacts are going to be, but there's got to be some negative impacts. My thinking is that you're so disconnected with your bosses and the people around you that you're even more of a number. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You're always a number before, no matter what.
Yeah, but you lose that personal touch.
Yeah.
Like if I talk to you in person, there's this connection. But once you're just doing Zoom stuff and then you're kind of out of the way, it's like, all right, we need to cut 10%.
Yeah.
And it's less personal because we didn't have that relationship. Yeah. Even though you could have a relationship via Zoom and phone calls and stuff, it's not the same as a physical connection.
Yeah. That's probably the only thing that I can think of being negative is there's this disconnect of the personal touch. I know this sounds weird, but like, smelling somebody, someone's cologne or walking past somebody and feeling a breeze walk past or hearing them talk from another office. Yeah. The voice. There's none of that.
Well, also everything's real, PC and proper on Zooms. Whenever you're in person, you have these meetings, but after the meetings, you get to sense how they really are. Yeah. And they'll, say, kind of be themselves, kind of open up a little more. I think you get that, and you don't really get that with Zoom because you're not on this recording, and you might keep the recording, and like you don't want to come off a certain way, so you have to be like on your P's and Q's.
That's a perfect example.
I think you're gonna miss out on that.
This week, when I met this lady that I've worked with for 2 years, and I just thought she was a normal lady. I mean, she is just a normal person, right? But we had a lot of fun working together, and we got to talk about other stuff that we would never have talked about.
Yeah.
And I thought we were it turns out we're fucking pretty similar in our beliefs and the way that we think, and we're completely, she's a little older than I am, but we have a lot in common, and we were able to communicate in person and talk about stuff that we've never been able to talk about just over team meetings.
Yeah.
So.
And that strengthens your connections too.
Yeah.
So now that I know Jon, but I know Jon on a personal level. Yeah. And then when you need something from one another, you're like, oh, I'm going to go the extra mile because I know they're a good person and I've had this connection with them. And, we'll help each other out more. And then maybe later in life, y'all, work at another company and, bring you on over there and just, those connections and networking, from a personal standpoint is really good. You can get some of that stuff over the phone and Zoom, but I feel like it just lacks a lot. It's missing something. I don't know what it is. I did the thing.
Yeah, I saw it. I don't know. What pisses you off though?
What really grinds my gears?
Yeah. What rusts your gears?
The thing that pops in my head right now.
Yeah.
Is still the education system. Like having to go to this weird college and like get this degree just so I can go, move up and,
set company.
Yeah. In a corporation. It's kind of crazy.
even though you're more than qualified than probably a certain percentage of people that do have the degree.
Yeah, I think at some of these larger corporations, they should be, if you're there for a certain amount of time, I mean, you should be like grandfathered in or something. But
I don't think that.
I get it. There's some things I learned in school that, like in college, that apply. You know, I'm getting smarter, but some of it's a lot of fluff.
Yeah.
There's a lot of fluff. Some of these things I'm doing, I'm like, this is just to pass time.
Mm-hmm.
This is like an assignment to fill a week. You know,
yeah.
do this thing to fill a week.
Yeah.
But there's some weeks that it's like, oh shit, I learned a lot. And then but the majority of them, I'm like, what are we doing here? And this is a major school. Like, it's a big university.
Yeah, clown college.
Yeah. Well, it's a little more prestigious. You can't get the nose till after.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, you graduate. Some of these clown colleges will give you the shoes.
Are you painting the face right now, or what are you doing?
Nah, I'm getting close. Those are like the core classes. I'm not there yet. I'm still doing the basic clown stuff.
I don't think corporations should grandfather people in just because they've been there for a long time, or give them some prestigious role because they've been there a long time. I think
it's a slippery slope, but they have to accept some level of that.
I think no, I don't.
Which they do.
Maybe. I think it should be dependent on your level of drive and what you accomplish.
How do you measure it?
By what you accomplish. If you can look at somebody who maybe has a degree and then someone who doesn't have a degree and see what they contribute to the company or contribute to the department, measure that over a couple of years and really make a decision based on that. Just because somebody has a degree doesn't mean shit. You've proved that, and I've proved that. And then we're talking about, it's not just our company, it's worldwide. It's the bachelor's degree, the engineering degree is getting watered down, I think. Everybody has a fucking degree. Mm-hmm. It doesn't matter if you have a degree. What can you do with that degree?
Yeah.
Show me just because you have a degree and you can get this fucking job doesn't mean you can actually perform in it.
Yeah. Well, that's the only way to measure it. And that gets subjective too. It's like, okay, put all these projects on a list of what you did to contribute, how much money you've saved or whatever. But did you really do it? You know, or were you like the person that went to the meetings and didn't say anything?
That happens a lot.
And, helped 5 other people, but really didn't help.
Yeah.
And then they put the title of the project and how much that project saved.
Yeah.
But talking to a person that wasn't involved in that project and saying you did that project.
I love going to meetings and talking with people that have said they have accomplished something and asking them a direct question of how did this benefit, or what did the operator say when this happened? And they don't know. But
crickets.
They give a fucking fluffy answer. You know somebody who has really been involved in the project on the ground level, doing work, making an impact. And you know people who have been on meetings on projects and can articulate at a high level of what the objective is and what the benefit is. Everything that's on the spreadsheet. But everything that's on the spreadsheet is not really what always happened. It's never what really happened.
Yeah.
That's
the outline.
That's what I sound like someone that's just bitching right now, and I know I am, but that really happens. There's a lot of these people that just go to attend the meetings and they say, oh, well, this is the cost objective and this is the benefit and this is how we're going to implement and here's a timeline.
Yeah.
And then there's people that actually do the implementation.
Yeah.
Those people know more than the people that just know the timeline.
Yeah. And a lot of time, the lower level people are the ones actually doing the things. So this is the thing. I'm gonna get this degree. I'm gonna be the same person, but I'm gonna be eligible for all these other jobs.
I know.
You know what I mean? So I'm gonna have the same, record. I'm just gonna be able to get into a higher class of jobs.
There's some people that just don't have it to be, a leader. There's some people that just don't have it to be a project manager. There's just some people that are meant to be an operator or meant to be a checkout clerk, and that's fine.
Yeah.
But there's people that maybe didn't have the same upbringing as some fucking Karen who went to school and got a bachelor's degree.
Poor Karen.
Right? Yeah. They're or didn't have the financial need or the financial ability to do that. right?
Yeah.
Maybe there's someone that was really dumb in high school and got really smart later in life, aka me.
I knew that was coming.
But that can do that.
Yeah.
That can do jobs that maybe they're not on paper qualified for.
Yeah. Well, that's what you get too with people that didn't earn their. We're getting in the weeds here, but like people that just went from high school to college and never had real world experience and got this degree that they didn't pay for either, like their parents paid for, and you're getting that caliber person, which sometimes fine. But they're going to go into a job that they've never worked. Yeah. And they don't know how it works. They don't know how it really works. They just know conceptually. And then you're going to give them a big job. And they're going to really weigh in on those people that went out to go work. And then they're going to college afterwards so they can get these higher jobs because they know how to do it. They just can't get them. They're not eligible. So that's what's happening now. And then once they've hit like probably 5 to 10 years in the company, then it starts to click. Yeah. They're like, okay, now I know what I need to do. Yep. So now they have the experience of the person that went straight to the job, and now they have the knowledge to push it even further. Yeah. But you have to wait all that time, and you have this kind of dependent person that like
those people that come out with the big fancy degrees depend on people in the company that don't have the degrees. Yeah. Can you imagine what would happen if the people that didn't have the degrees just decided to do a walkout? Yeah. And depend on the people with degrees?
It'd be scary.
Can you imagine that?
But there are good people that take that route, and they're very successful. We know one of them.
Who? What?
Mr. Gabba.
I was trying to be a hard ass.
Yeah. But he's great.
But he was raised differently too.
He is. So a lot of that ties into this. It's not just like, hey, this person has the bachelor or master's or whatever. How are they brought up? Like, did they do hard work? Like, did they have discipline? But so some of the people that take the route that actually pay for their school and still are paying for their school, they have that. Yeah. So like even if they went right out of high school, they went to college, but they had to hold a job down and they have this debt still today, they're paying it off. Right. I think you get a lot more out of it because there's like risk. Like right now, if I fail, I'm going to pay $2,000 because I failed. So I'm not going to fail. I'm going to do whatever it takes to pass. And sometimes people can, fail and then there's no big deal. We'll just take it again. There's no risk.
I do agree. I hope I'm not generalizing everyone with degrees are bad.
That's why I put that comment in there.
Yeah. Well, that's not what I'm saying. Yeah. I'm saying that companies and leadership should be able to decipher from people like that. Deciphers, hey, this person has been at this company for a long time, and this person, more importantly, has been contributing and making waves and doing good things. Yeah. How do we retain this talent? Yeah. How do we promote this type of talent and keep this person? And same thing with the engineers too, who come out. This person has a high quality level of smarts. This person has drive. This person can make a positive contribution. How do we keep this and then get that other person that comes out of college and, hey, this person's been here 3 years, hasn't really done shit. Let's get rid of this person. Yeah. Why is that hard?
I don't know. And there's stories where they don't contribute there. That's not where, it's kind of like class. It's not where they would thrive, but they put them in a different position and then they blossom.
Man, that's a good point.
So it's
maybe this
comes down to a leadership decision too sometimes. Maybe they're not in the right spot and then they move them somewhere else.
That's a good point. Yeah, that's a very good point.
Yeah, but for the record, not completely generalizing, but there's a lot of people that are really good and have degrees. A lot of people without them that are really good. There is a divisiveness though in corporations with education where you're treated a little different. Yeah, yeah, which doesn't. I feel like with all this PC stuff that's going around, I feel like that's going to get attacked soon.
No, I don't think so. I don't think that'll ever get attacked.
You don't think so?
No, I think race is much bigger than
well, no, but it's going to get even more nuanced as it goes. There's very important topics that should be a topic of discussion, but as we keep addressing these things, it's going to get more nuanced, and it might be important, but it's going to get down to where it's going to be clothing or something I don't know. It's going to get so crazy that I don't know what example I have for that, but
I do notice our company and other companies are doing are thinking about years of service or military experience in lieu of a bachelor's degree. So that is
I like that.
That is
you learn a lot in the military.
Yeah, dude, the fucking military. That's the one segment of population that should matter the most.
Yeah.
These people signed their lives away to our country and would die for us. And they can't get a fucking improvement engineer job? You fucking kidding me? You kidding me? Like 100%. Are you gotta be fucking joking. They're over here in Afghanistan putting fucking tanks together and putting missiles together and building guns and helping people who can't even speak fucking English. They're sleeping on the ground and they can't fucking put a motor in at a plant.
Yeah.
They can't. Are you serious?
Well, a lot of the principles they learn in there are really close to corporations principles. Like, so they already come in with that knowledge too.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm glad they open up for that. And I was going to add, like, the way things are evolving, like these little things that are changing that are really nice, like big things actually, inclusiveness and race and all that stuff. The thing I like that affected me, which is every job I had, it was a real problem that you had long hair or a beard.
Yeah.
Like I'd have to, it's not professional to have that. And I always was like walking on eggshells and I would have to like shave my beard and I couldn't grow my hair. I'd have to keep it at a certain length. And then like piercings and stuff were just a no-go. But now you see like these major corporations are allowing that. It's really nice to be able to be myself because I was the topic of discussion every time, like with a beard. Cause I look dumb now, but I look really dumb without a beard.
Yeah.
So it was a problem. Like in the meeting, it was like, oh, he's got a beard, and you you don't get taken serious whenever you have it. But now it's like it's kind of professional to have a beard as long as it's trim.
Yeah.
There's
so many people that are in leadership positions that do have tattoos. Yeah. It's becoming more of a norm now. Yeah. There's this woman. I don't know, executive of some, I don't know, Google maybe, I don't know. But she took a picture, her professional profile picture was her in a sleeveless shirt showing her tats. And it made the news. I forget what company it was, but
like a LinkedIn picture or something?
Yeah, it was the professional photo that you have, the normal suit and tie, but it wasn't the suit and tie. It was her and a professional I don't know what you call a girl. What do you call the blouses or something? I don't know. It's a professional clothing shoot. She was wearing a professional attire. Vest? Yeah, a vest or something. I don't know. But she was the purpose was to show her tattoos.
Yeah. Bold.
And she was making a statement of this is leadership today.
Yeah.
This is how we look. This is normal and it's okay.
I like the move. It's a bold move. And I used to say, I'm keeping my hair because I want to make, if nobody does it, then it's not going to get normal. So like, we're not in a staff position, being around a lot of people.
Yeah.
I think I don't know. I still hear like it's not, but it's accepted, but it's like in our subconscious and some people's subconscious, like, well, he's not going to get taken serious but if you can open your mouth and articulate and make a difference.
Yeah.
It's just the road's a little harder when you have tattoos, piercings, or whatever. Like every time you have to make a good impression.
The road's harder for you, and it's going to get harder for you.
I don't know.
Because you're white.
Yeah.
Did you know where I was going?
Yeah. We talked about this.
We're almost getting doing reverse racism now.
No.
Because we're so woke. And we want to be so inclusive that we're closing the door on white people. I'm serious. I can say it because I'm Mexican.
Yeah, I'll let you say it. It's like a byproduct, but I haven't seen the effects yet. But I mean, you could be right.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not white, so I can't see it. But I know I know companies have a percentage of people that they have to hire that's not white.
Yeah.
They have to make a conscious effort to hire somebody of African American or Indian or Asian and it has to be that more than white.
Yeah.
It's been published in newspapers.
I think I saw it through a different lens, like not too long ago. I saw that happening, and it's different. But there has to be diversity. There has to be. Because if you have an organization with one race, not always, but they're more likely to pick another person of that race to come into their organization.
Yeah.
And then that will spread. So you have to have diversity because otherwise, so like say this does happen, this might work. So like say I become the only white person in my organization. I think at that point, once it's balanced, then they'll say, we need more white people.
I don't think so.
We haven't got there yet.
I don't think
we haven't got there yet.
I think it's getting too far. We
haven't got there yet.
It's almost bad to hire white people.
Well, in this environment right now, it is, but it hadn't. So, like in our company, it's very diverse.
Yeah,
it's to the point where it is very balanced, but it's not balanced enough to where it's time to hire more white people.
No,
I think it has to go that way, though.
It's almost going too far. It's going too far to be inclusive, I think, and it's not just our company. I think in society as a whole, you can't just believe that you're not racist.
Yeah.
Right? You can't just say, well, I'm not racist. You have to burn a flag or denounce somebody or stop following somebody or not associate with that person to prove that you're woke. It's all a virtue signaling. It's like, hey, look at me. I am so on the inclusive side that I have the pride flag symbol in my bio. I have the BLM thing in my title. I am so inclusive. This is me. And if you don't have that these days, it's almost a bad thing.
Yeah. No, I think
Are you uncomfortable right now?
No.
Okay.
There's an element of that which is too far. There's always like a spectrum of too far. Yeah. But the middle, which I truly believe, I think we need diversity. Because we're a free country. Everybody wants to be here. And a lot of people talk crap about people, coming from Mexico to America. But you bet your ass, if I was in Mexico and I was hearing gunshots and I had a family and we were in danger, I would risk coming over to America to start a better life.
Yeah.
If you think about it in their shoes, we were privileged enough to be born here. You bet your ass I'll be running across the border trying to get over here.
Oh, absolutely.
And that comes from different countries too. And we see that, and it's hard to say, but like I would, wherever I was from, if I knew there was a better place, I would go there.
Yeah.
So like we should be in an area where we feel safe and our family feels safe and we feel accepted, and that's America. There's other countries that are like that, but so with that, they come in, the first generation's a little rough, right? Because they have their culture's different, but that's what we accept the first generation's in. And then the second generations know a little more about how America works, but they also bring their culture in too, which makes us a little more diverse and accepting of different cultures. So I really like it for the most part, but there's that spectrum where it goes too far.
I think we're going, I'm Mexican. I'm for diversity. Diversity matters.
Yeah.
I get it. But we don't have to be so hardcore and in your face about it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I'm so touchy about racism now because it's so much. So I see people as who they are. If you're a good worker, you're a good worker. If you're a funny guy, you're a funny guy or woman or whatever. But I want to learn about different cultures, but I'm scared to ask sometimes. I still do it. But in a company setting, I'm like, I want to know more about where you're from, because I feel like in America, they probably do teach, and I just wasn't paying attention, in school, going back to school. But I want to know more about different countries, and like Pakistan, Afghanistan. I don't know about stuff, and I'm really interested in learning, but I always have to start the conversation. I said, hey, you don't have to answer this if you don't feel comfortable, but like, I want to know more about like who you are, where you came from, and things like that. Because that's why our podcast is called Curiosity. I just want to know about everything.
Yeah.
And so that, I know kind of, I don't know where they're from and what they do and how they live life, how they grew up, what it was like. So then I'll have a better understanding of how they are today. Like, was it rough where you're from? In Mexico, how was it? is it, and I like to gauge too, like from what we see on the news, like, is it really crazy over there? Or because I'm a world traveler, man. I go all kinds of places and I see that it's not really what they say on the news all the time.
Hold on.
We talked about this last time. Every place has a bad area, but every place has a good area too.
You're traveling to resorts.
No, I'm not.
You're traveling to
in Mexico, but I've also been to Germany and England and Tokyo and Thailand, and we spent time in the areas that weren't
for tourists.
Weren't for tourists, but yeah, I've been to resorts too. I don't count those. That's a fake land.
It might as well stay in America.
Yeah, but we've been in Mexico, like deep in Mexico, and there are bad areas, but there's good areas too. And there's in Mexico specifically, there's times when you probably shouldn't travel. Like you shouldn't probably travel at midnight. You should probably know somebody in those areas, but there's paths you can take that are safer, and there's paths that are a little more dangerous. But that's just in this area. Yeah. If you go to Houston, I don't know if today is still the day, but like if you go to the Fifth Ward, you probably don't want to go through there.
Right. There's just a big ass shootout like last week.
Yeah. So like that from being from here, but you're not from Mexico, so you don't know those bad areas. So every place has, an area that's a little more dangerous.
Yeah, I think we've talked about this too. There's probably people in Germany or China saying, well, fuck, you don't want to go to America. You see what's going on in Austin or
exactly. And you told me that the other day. I went to Tulum, Mexico, which is a touristy, more touristy area, but it's not a resort, right? But I saw that there was a shooting out there, and that's still being talked about over there. It's like tourists got shot.
There was another one recently.
Yeah. But normally in the tourist areas, you don't see like cartel activity, but there was like a stray bullet that went and happened to shoot a tourist. So it was, but you sometimes you say smart shit, not often.
All the time.
Not often.
All the time.
But you said, could you imagine if someone from Mexico saw the violence that happens in Houston every day?
Yeah.
Like how many people get killed in Houston every day? And that kind of gets washed over by like mainstream news. But
you were so scared, and if I remember right, you were so scared of going, and I was trying to calm you down. So I said that, and you're like, well, shit, you're kind of right. And I was like, but it's dangerous over there, so have a good trip. I finished up. Yeah. Have a good trip.
Yeah. I guess it just gets magnified.
We're around it
in different countries and things like that. But
I don't know. Well, back to the diversity thing real quick.
Yeah.
Again, I'm not against it. I'm for diversity, but there's you can almost correlate it to when does the flipping of the kettlebell stop? It's getting too much.
The kettlebell.
You know what I mean?
You found a way to put that in full circle.
Yeah, I think it's just a little bit too much. So at some point we're going to get to where there's no white people, where it's like a bad thing to be white. You
don't think with just evolution though, with all the different cultures put in, in this mixing pot, race is going to change anyways.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. I think they had projections of like what an American would look like in 20 years or something. It's
like my kids are all, they're all half breeds. Yeah. They're not.
It's all going to be mixed, and this won't be a thing anymore. Yeah. Like, because with technology and be able to communicate and travel and like transportation, it's very easy to get places now. It's real easy to talk to someone that you don't know the language. You just get on Google and translate.
Yeah,
I'm sure I've been seeing this technology where you put a earbud in and then you just talk and it speaks Spanish to them. Like, we're finding ways to communicate, and just the whole world's gonna, we already do. Like most of the countries are able to go on Facebook and stuff. And then we start to level out. We start to have the same understanding from Facebook, like how culture is. So that's like combining culture, because everybody's on the same app and everybody is looking at the same things and sharing their opinions. So it's not going to be like, it's still going to be America. It's still going to be China, everything, but everybody's going to be a little more blended anyways. You know what I mean? Race is going to be blended. Culture is going to be blended. So it's just, since social media is tying everything together so quickly, I think we're trying to catch up with that. We're trying to stay ahead of that, so that because if we get behind, it's, it adds some sort of controversy. So like, I don't know, because we don't know other cultures that well. So as they come in, it's like, I think we've had training before, like, what's acceptable, what's not.
Yeah.
It's very different in different countries.
Oh,
so,
absolutely.
But I think ultimately there's not going to be a race eventually. It's going to, it's going to be a long time. But I hate putting on papers that I'm Caucasian. It's like, I'm just a man.
I just filled out something earlier this week that was, what's your ethnicity and then your race. So ethnicity, Hispanic or Latino, right? And then race, it says, white, non-Hispanic, Asian, non-Hispanic, Latino. There wasn't.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, there wasn't. What the fuck do I pick for that one? I picked white. I'm like, I'm not white, but
you didn't have no other choice.
I didn't have any fucking choice.
But there's always an option now. I'd rather not say.
Well, I didn't want to say. I like to say.
You do, but you get wrapped up into a
statistic.
You can't say it is.
Statistic. Yeah.
That's pretty good, right?
We both
you get wrapped up in that. So I just press, I'd rather not share anymore because ultimately, if you were born, like if we're talking about, it's all a category. Like where were you born, basically? I'm American. I was born here, so I'm an American. That should be it.
But again, corporations they have a percentage of people that they have to abide by and send those that data to the government and say, look how inclusive we are. They can share that with some organization and say, look, we interviewed 40% African American and 25% Asian American. They have to say that, and I think that's when you're forcing that on people.
No,
it's not authentic. It's not coming from the heart. You're giving me all this stuff from you, and you're a very emotional guy, Mike.
Shut the fuck up. I'm tired of this.
You're giving me genuine Mike, right? Mm-hmm. And that's great. That's genuine. That's you. But if corporations are forcing it, they're forcing, you have to have X amount of minorities on an interview panel. You have to have, a certain percentage of male to female on the interview panel. And if you didn't, well, then you got to redo the interviews. And it's not authentic. And then it sways someone's opinion, Yeah. When you're forcing it, it's not good. And at some point, we're going to slingshot back the other way.
Yeah.
We're going to have to. At some point, it's going to get so bad of just forcing all this stuff down people's throat that you're going to have to come back.
Yeah. I mean, it sounds fucked up when you have to do it that way. Like, you have to do it.
That's what's happening. That's my problem.
But there's no other, it's not going to happen naturally. I mean, once we start getting more diverse, it's like, it's going to be where you're just going to have a mixed panel anyways.
I think it does happen naturally. America voted in a black president 8 years ago or 12 years ago, whenever it was now.
Yeah. Well, like that spectrum thing, maybe we go a little too far, but
I think it happens naturally. And there's a bunch of different races and leadership roles right now. And it happened naturally. It happened because hopefully this person can perform a job. We shouldn't hire somebody because, well, it checks the percentage that I need to hire.
Well, that's where it gets hairy.
Well, it's happening.
But there's people that are fit for the job. I think you can agree at least maybe 10, 15 years ago, like it was harder for a Mexican to get a job, like a high-level job, or it's higher for a black person to get a higher-level job. It was in the past, a lot, it's not bad to say, like a lot of Caucasians in these higher-level jobs. So even if they did qualify, they wouldn't get a shot because the panel was all Caucasian. I
don't know.
Not everywhere, but some places, I'm sure it was a problem.
I should be on board with that because I am Mexican. I should say yes. You
don't agree it was a problem at one time?
I think
some places.
I think it was different because maybe at that point in time, more white people had the ability to go to college and then get these degrees,
exactly,
and minorities didn't.
Yeah.
So maybe it's not the problem of this white evil man that's on this board hiring a white evil man.
Yeah.
Maybe it's a problem that we need to address in education and make it more affordable for minorities to go to school.
Well, that's in there too.
Yeah,
that's in there too, making it easier to go to school if you're a minority. So it's fixing the system on that level and in the corporate level. And I have a feeling it catches up at some point and you don't see it as much because it's just the culture.
I don't think we're fit. I think it's a perpetual problem that they know they can generate money and funds. East side of Austin is historically bad. How much good things is happening to Austin? Tesla, all these corporations are moving to Austin. They're building a big Samsung facility just outside Austin. We're going to start making fucking chips here in the United States.
That's crazy, dude. Yeah, that's good.
We can't fix the east side of Austin. There's more deaths happening in east side of Austin than ever before. We're already on. I think Austin went double homicides in 2021 compared to 2020. Of course, there's COVID and all this bullshit that plays into it. But why can't you just fix the east side of Austin? Why can't you legitimately? You want to pour money into something?
No.
Don't pour money into downtown. Fix it.
So the way I see they fix that, and they do, is give free money for education for people who don't have the opportunities. And that normally falls into minorities. So that's a way of getting them out, getting them educated, and getting them into higher paying jobs, or just giving better opportunities. So if you go a step lower from the family mindset, like the family getting better opportunities after they've already older, how do you fix that before giving minorities money to actually go to school and get out of that system?
Well, we're giving money now. We're giving all these tax incentives now. Yeah. We're giving, food stamps and all this bullshit to help, and it's not helping. It's only perpetuating the problem, because you can give people this money in this open bank and say, oh, well, then I'm just going to keep getting this money. I'm going to keep being able to do what I do and not have to change.
Well, that's just for school, though. The ones I'm talking about is like grants for school. Like, you don't have to pay back. You have money to go to school. You're not just getting free money to. That's a different thing. I'm talking about they get grants, free grants. They can go to school, and the government will just pay for their school to get them out of that, because the money's not coming from nowhere else. And if they don't go, they're just going to repeat the cycle their parents did, if that's their situation.
I think me and you are talking a little bit different things. I'm talking about starting at the home level when the kids are small.
So what do you do?
There's all these social programs to help, but I don't know of any social programs that are going into these neighborhoods and kind of going back to what we were saying earlier, really educating kids on, hey, why is school important? This is an example of how you can make it if you go to school. Or why is saving money important? Why don't you want to do drugs? Why don't you? This is why. But
how do you get them to go? I think that's the problem too, is maybe they offer these things, but they don't want, their parents don't want them to go, or they don't want to go because they're in the system where it's I don't want to go to school.
To the neighborhoods
and force them.
No, maybe not force them, but just there's all kinds of buildings. There's how you can do it in the street. There's got to be a way to educate and really make an impact. There's small organizations doing it in Austin, and I keep saying Austin because I'm really I love Austin. I have a place in my heart for Austin, but it's going to shit. But everything around Austin is getting beautified and spend a lot of money, and it's growing, but there's still this thorn on the east side of Austin that has remained the same for a long time.
Yeah. And
you could make an impact. I'm saying it's easy, and I know it's not easy. I know it takes money, but there's a lot of money being spent on wasteful stuff that you could really spend it and make an impact to help people.
Well, now they have the opportunity. With all these big businesses comes tax dollars, and they can build up money to actually support these, but someone's got to have the initiative to do it, because
Elon's going to do it.
He probably will. He's doing a lot of good stuff.
Yeah.
But no, this is good. I mean, it's no. It's a problem, and it's not a lot of people have solutions. I've heard of solutions but they just don't get implemented. There's no money in it. It's something Rogan talks about all the time, just cleaning up this thing.
Rogan bugs the fuck out of me when he says, it's probably the one thing I disagree with Rogan. I don't know. I disagree with him a lot of stuff, but how he says the mayor is making an impact on the homeless, and Austin's when he talks about traffic's not bad in Austin.
He's just comparing to California.
He's just comparing. But he didn't. he needs to have someone on from Austin that's been in Austin that really knows Austin to give him a perspective of how it sucks, why it's gotten worse. He compares it to a really bad. He's comparing. Well, fuck. If I went to California and I compared it to fucking China, it'd be fucking California would be amazing.
Yeah.
That's something that does bug the shit out of me.
Yeah. The bad thing is that no matter who is the mayor or whatever, you won't see that type of change in your lifetime.
For years to come.
It takes too long. It's a unlearning, relearning. It takes a long time. You won't even see. I mean, it's like if you saw it on a chart, it's going to be a small progression in the right direction, but someone has to keep doing it. And I don't know. I think there's always going to be those areas in major cities or even towns or whatever. There's always going to be a decline somewhere where it's not getting enough attention. It's just trying to stay ahead of it and make sure you have the right people in offices to make sure they're putting aside money to put some attention in those areas.
Not defunding the police and
these are whole large subjects that are for another podcast.
Oh, I want to talk about them.
Yeah, but they're all controversial and they all have a good and a bad side. I think we can all agree all this stuff that we've talked about today, there's benefits and there's good and bad in all of it.
You know what pisses me off? Vegans.
I know.
Fucking vegans.
I know. Okay. Well, I think this is good. I think we're up on time.
I think we're
oh my gosh.
Hour 14 into this sumbitch.
Well, we're supposed to do 30, so
all right.
You got riled up.
I don't.
No more coffee
I let you do this.
Yeah.
I'm not ever gonna let you do it again.
The angle?
Yeah, this angle's shit. I don't care about the video.
But you care about that.
But this is shit.
I'm showing too much leg. Damn it.
Can we
get pulled off?
Can we go get some more coffee?
All right. Love you.
Love you too. Bye. Bye.